Right, Shalom, Shalom. First, I'd like to give all praises unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Wahabrakah, Kadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and honors to you brothers out there on the highways and the byways teaching this word in all sincerity and truth. And I want to respond to this video made by the elder Yeshawamba in regards to the IQ deception, because pretty much the prevailing thought out there in the world is that you so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native American Indians are brute beasts. You're only good for, servile, labor-like work, sports, or entertainment, and you have no intellect. When it comes to things of intellect, you are the lowest of the low. All right, and this is a doctrine that's been spread. It goes hand in hand with so-called white supremacy. All right, it literally goes as so-called white supremacy was being established. You so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native American Indians being at the bottom of the totem pole was being established at the very same time. That's why when it comes to being smart or intelligent, Esau will give props to the so-called Chinese, or give props to the so-called Indian, but he won't give props to Jake. When even now to this day, the ethnic group which far excels in academia is the so-called Nigerian, which those Nigerians, them Yorubas and them Igbos, they're Israelites. But if you notice in the media, they won't promote it in their media that so-called Nigerians are very intelligent. They'll promote that they're scammers, they're this, they're that, everything negative, but they'll still run with the stereotype that so-called Chinese and these Elamites are super smart, which they're not. They just have a upbringing which pushes them to achieve a certain standard, and they go Saturday school. I know, because I grew up with a Chinese dude, and they have their own Saturday schools which they organize among themselves. Something you so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans won't do, because you've been destroyed as a people. All right. But basically, what I want to go into in this lesson is that's why Esau took away the knowledge of our history. All right, because we are a great people, man. We are the children of the Most High, the sons of God. All right, get Psalms 82:6. Let's get that. We're the children of the Most High. That's not no anyone, man. Our Father is the Heavenly Father Himself. This is Psalms 82:6. I have said, ye are gods, and all of you are the children of the Most High. So we're not Africans. We're not niggers. All right, we're the children of Jacob, man. All right. Now, Jacob received the name Israel after he wrestled with an angel, and that's a great title he received. Okay, when you read the account in Genesis the 35th chapter, it says, and God said unto him, thy name is Jacob, thy name shall not be called any more Jacob, but Israel shall be thy name. And he called his name Israel. All right. Now, the name Israel means a prince of God. Yasha Allah. He's a prince of power, meaning we're the sons of the Most High. Now, with that comes great the ultimate responsibility, the ultimate esteem, the ultimate honor, the ultimate standard, the ultimate potential. Okay, now when you're regarding yourself as an African American, a West Indian, an African, and all these lesser titles and false identities, these identities are all low. They have a low standard, a low expectation, and what comes with that is a low self-esteem. Especially if you're calling yourself an African American or a West Indian, because as far as you know, your history is pretty much slavery, right? That's all you are. You are no more, and that's been beat into your minds by your oppressor, that this is as far as you can go. And that low self-esteem and that low self-image, right, and that to look upon thyself with despise permeates throughout so-called Negro, Hispanic, and Native American Indian communities, man. Even you so-called Hispanics, you don't know the greatness of your history. You don't know the greatness of your people. You don't know that you are the children of the Most High. So you seek to things which are lower. You accept low standards, right? You accept things which are low because that's as far as you can see. Okay? Now, when you go into the scriptures, that's why all over the scriptures say you got to go in search of your fathers, man. Because the scriptures contains our lows, but also our highs. Yeah? The scriptures show you how low we can go, but the scriptures also show you how high we can go. It shows you the standard, the high standard that we can and should achieve as being the children of the Most High. When you read through these scriptures, it's Job 8:8. It says, "For inquire, I pray thee, of the former age, and prepare thyself for the search of their fathers." We have forefathers that have reached to the pinnacle of everything, beginning with our forefather Solomon, who was the wisest of all. Right? Really, I should say, beginning with Yahweh Shai, who is wisdom. All right, incarnate. Yeah, we have a great potential, the greatest potential. But according to the so-called white man, because we're sub-Saharan African and all this crap that he makes up, and we got, according to our genetics, we got a low IQ, we have a low potential. But that's a damn lie. All right, and I'm gonna show you that lie goes way back. So let me set this up in the book of Sirach. That's why you got to go into the scriptures. You read about Daniel, you read about those men. Those were all men of great intellect and wisdom, which is the most important thing. Wisdom, the fear of the Lord, and understanding. All right. Jake got low self-esteem. He's got self-esteem. The Israelite man and the Israelite woman have got some serious self-esteem issues, and that's why we seek to the lowest, most degrading form of ourselves, and we embrace it. And that's what black culture is. Black culture is about embracing our lowest form. Yeah, ghetto life, thug life. Yeah, all that. That's all about embracing our lowest form, because that's what Jake thinks that's the level we on. That's as far as we can go. When the sky's the limit, because, well, I'm going to show you. That's why you got to know your history. You got to know you're an Israelite, man. That's why Esau don't want you to know you're Israelite. Because once you find out you're Israelite, you find out, hold on, wait, there's so much more I can be. There's so much more that I can be, man. I'm a son of God. Like, what's the limit on what I can be? The only limit comes with being the Most High himself. But underneath that, we can go as high as there is. Underneath the Most High and his son Yahweh Shai. That's pretty high. All right. So what I want to do is I want to give an example of how Esau, throughout the history, I mean, pretty much most of the things that you Israelites are doing today regularly, there was a point in time in history where Esau taught you were incapable of doing that. We can go into flying planes, where Esau, at one point, he determined that you Negroes would be incapable. And I'm beginning with the tribe of Judah, because that's the tribe that's the head tribe. So if you keep Judah down, you keep all the tribes down. That's why I'm speaking about the tribe of Judah, because that's the head tribe. And when you look at it, that's the tribe with the lowest self-esteem, and that's done on purpose. That's not an accident. And Judah's standard resonates with the other tribes. When Judah excels, the other tribes excel. When Judah low, the other tribes follow suit, because Judah is a big influencer amongst the tribes spiritually. So this is a book called At the Hands of Persons Unknown: The Lynching of Black America by Philip Drake, which is an excellent book. It's not expensive. If you could get hold of this book, get hold of it. All right. If you secondhand, I always suggest to buy books secondhand. There's no point buying it new. If you know, there's a lot of people that buy books and they sell them, and there's nothing wrong with the book, man. They just don't want to read it no more. They haven't marked it up. Buy it secondhand. If the description says like new, secondhand, why buy it? Why buy it first hand? You gotta swallow that pride, man, and save the peace. All right. So in this book, let's go to. There's a page where it speaks about how the so-called white man dealt with you, the tribe of Judah. Now it says the Negro is a fellow of many natural defects and deformities. Ran a typical passage in Najok, a question for a continent, a popular, yeah. See, you got these Edomites out here talking about how it's only 2% of people. Listen, this is the where you so-called Negroes are today, man, is a direct result of the cultural programming of a nigger is a product of the so-called white man's oppressive system. Point blank, period. That's why the worst Negroes you could find on the planet Earth are the ones that live among Esau, beginning with America. Then you go to Britain. The closer you are to Esau and the closer you are to his tampering of your mental state, the worse you are. All right, that's why world star hip hop is what it is. Some of the stuff you see happening in America, you never see that happening in England. America's the worst because it's just like that. All right. Now it says the Negro is a fellow of many natural defects and deformities. So you see, at one time we were physically inferior, but you know now Esau can't even make that argument because it's clear that the so-called Negro, beginning with the tribe of Judah, is physically superior to the so-called white man in every way, period. But at one time, this is what Esau taught. That's why they didn't want a so-called Negro to be the heavyweight champion of the world. But now, look, whenever a so-called white man has to speak about boxing, he got to mention Jake, and all their heroes and all their champions that they reverence are all Jakes, from Muhammad Ali to you know, whatever the case may be. All right, the classics, the classic heavyweights, they're all Jakes. All right, we done smashed Esau at everything. All right, it says ran a typical passage in a joke, a question for a continent, a popular, literally assault on blacks, written by Hinton R. Helper and published in 1867. So Esau would go out of his way to basically talk shit about Jake, to put us down. All right. Not only is he cursed with a black complexion, so Esau at one point was teaching that having melanin in your skin, which all animals and all creatures on earth possess melanin, except for a few anomalies, right? Whether you're talking about lions or birds, whatever animal you're talking about has, unless they're living in a cave somewhere or in the deep, darkest parts of the ocean, anything that is exposed to the sun on earth has melanin, even polar bears. Because melanin, the Most High made melanin as a block to the UV radiation produced by the sun. It's natural sunblock. So to have a black or a dark complexion is actually a blessing. It protects you from the harmful radiation of the sun. But at one time Esau taught that this was cursed. Now hold on, when you go to Revelations, Revelations, the first chapter and the 13th verse, it explains to you that our Lord himself had a dark complexion. All right, but Esau is a hater. Esau is the one that's cursed. He's cursed with a translucent complexion, and that's the truth that's coming out. It says an apish aspect. So according to Esau, we were apish. You know, the madness. This is the madness that Esau pumped into the minds of our people, which that sentiment still resonates in the minds of our people today. And a woolly head. So according to Esau, having a woolly head was a curse. Now hold on, when you go to Revelations 1, it tells you that our Lord had a woolly head, showing you that this man is the devil that the Bible speaks of. Revelations 1 and 14, his head and his hairs were white like wool, as white as snow, and his eyes were as a flame of fire. And in certain translations, because if you don't understand that English, because this wasn't written in modern day English, where is it? White like wool. There's actually a translation. I don't have to find that translation. There's a translation that actually says woolly hair. I need to find that. But you see here, his hair, and it says, well, white as wool. Yeah, woolly head. That's why it mentions wool. His head and his hair were white like wool. Right? White like wool. But there's actually a translation. I'm going to have to find that where it actually shows you, like in plain English, that it's talking about a woolly head. But here it is. Our Lord had a woolly head. The pure wool, right? Woolly in texture and white, and that's in the scriptures. But according to Esau, that's a curse. Let's jump back over here. It says, not only is he cursed with a black complexion and apish aspect and a woolly head, he is also rendered odious by an intolerable stench. Now that goes back into where Esau wouldn't afford us the luxury of soaps. And you see that in the movie 12 Years a Slave, because if you ain't got soap and things and perfumes and things like that, if you just out there raw working hard in the sun, you're gonna get funky, man. Especially when they ain't giving you breaks to take baths, so you're gonna get funky. Anyone would get funky in that condition. Now Esau, he weren't working like that, so he had the luxury of baths and soap. But us, no. That's one of the reasons why the scripture says that even the Israelite woman would instead of a sweet smell, it would be a stink, because there was a time when we had these things where we were living like royal people, and royal people are always bathing and remaining clean and are bathing in perfumes and oils. But when the minute we went on them slave ships, it's nothing but a stink. In fact, there's accounts telling you about how much stink there was on them slave ships, because you ain't afforded the goodly things, the soap. And you watch 12 Years a Slave, it shows you when she left she went from one slave plantation to another trying to get some soap because she stank. All right, and an odious by an intolerable stench, a thick skull, and a booby brain. Helper was a unionist and had opposed slavery. Right, so this dude opposed slavery, but he was still the devil, but came to resent northern efforts to turn southern freedmen into citizens. Sections of his book bore titles such as The Negro's Vile and Vomit Provoking Stench and Black Nobodies. And this is the one you want to understand, a black nobody. When you hear the term black, the term Negro, term African American, what Esau is reducing you to is a nobody. Somebody who has no history, no standard. You just black, like you just whatever. You have no place in history. You are nothing. In the latter, he provided exhaustive list of accomplished people throughout all human history, statesmen, historians, philosophers, artists, explorers, and dared the reader to offer the name of even one Negro whose achievements would deserve inclusion. So this is where it comes from. That sentiment that basically you know what, like Tupac said, I ain't shit, and you ain't shit, and you ain't never gonna be shit, because we have nothing. We have no standard to look to. So our esteem is low, our potential is low, because we view ourselves of being of low potential. You understand? Now, if we are the sons of God, which is who we are, let's look up the word potential and what it means. You're going to find out that we're the people of the highest potential, because we're the people of God, of power. Let's look at the word potential. That's also speaking to Elder Yeshua, man. It's funny that they don't like to publicize too much that the Nigerians are the #1 group when it comes to academia. They don't put that in their movies and all that. because Esau don't want you, Jake, to know you're of the highest potential. It's your minds that's holding you back right now more than anything else. It's you're defiled, the darkness of your heart, your ignorance that's holding you Israelites back, and that's why you need Yahushua, who is the light. It's the dark. Esau's put darkness within your minds, man, over and above all things. Spiritually and mentally, Esau's injected darkness into the minds of you Israelites, and that's what's holding you back more than anything else. That's what's got you out here killing each other and murdering each other. The self-hate and the low self-esteem that you have, and your only way of being anything great in your mind is to be greater than your brother, because you could never see yourself as being greater than the other nations or greater than your enemy. Your only thing is, I can be greater than my brother though. That's why all black culture is all about showing off and stunting and getting one over your own people. It ain't about getting one over the other nations. You don't even think about that, because you've got such a low self-esteem. You just want to show off on your own people. All right, now the word potential means what is possible. Yeah, potential, possible. From the late Latin potentialis, meaning potential, from late Latin potentia, meaning power, might, or force. Figuratively, political power, and that's what authority, influence, and that's what Esau took away from us: political power, authority, and influence. And that's what the Lord's going to give us back, pursuant to Revelations, the 2nd chapter, and the 25th verse on down. It tells you the Lord is going to give us a power and authority over the nations, right? From potens, meaning powerful, from potes, powerful, able, capable, possible, of persons, better, preferable, chief, principal, strongest, foremost. So our people don't see ourselves as being the better, as being preferable, as being the chief, as being principal, as being the strongest, as being the foremost, especially when it comes to intellect, because Esau's beat that out of us. Okay, now if the word potential goes back into poti, which means powerful, right? So your potential is based on your power. If the Most High God is our power, then what is our potential? Our potential is unlimited. What is our standard? Our standard is the very highest. So what should be our esteem? We should esteem to be of the highest. But in this society, we don't. We esteem to be the lowest. We have a low self-esteem. Your possibility of what you could be is very low, because it is devil. You see? Because you don't realize that your forefather Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob were chief men. And we can go through a lot of men from our heritage that were chief, that were high. You Israelite women, they going back to Sarah, she was among women very high. A proper woman, a woman of worth. You Israelite women don't see yourself of worth according to high standards. Your standards are low. So your worth is based upon being a hoe, being a demon, because that's what you see yourself as. That's as far as you can go. Just go watch World Star Hip Hop. These people, they think they've reached the pinnacle of life when they're acting the way they do, because they have a low self-esteem, man. Sirach 44:1, let us now praise famous men and our fathers that begat us. The Lord hath wrought great glory by them through his great power from the beginning. Power, potential. Such as did bear rule in their kingdoms, rule, authority. Men renowned for their power. Renowned for their power. See, when you're black, there ain't no men that are renowned for their power. There are only men that are renowned for power on your block. That's all you got, like, you know, some documentary ghetto superstars, some niggas somewhere doing some stupid low-level cockroach type stuff. That's, you know, that's your level. No, we were renowned for men like King David. World affairs. World affairs. You understand? All right. And in the heavens, our King Yahweh Shai sitteth on the throne next to the Most High, who's our Father, man. Come on, man. Giving counsel by their understanding and declaring prophecies. See, the scriptures is showing you that we're men of understanding. We're supposed to be men of understanding, men of wisdom, men of knowledge, men of light. Not just dog life, baby, and all that madness. Leaders of the people. We're leaders. We're supposed to be leaders, man. We're esteemed to be leaders of the people by their counsels and by their knowledge of learning. Meat for the people, knowledge of learning. Our people don't esteem learning. Now, the so-called Nigerian, which are Israelites, they esteem learning, and that's why they excel in academia. But the majority of you so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans don't esteem learning because you don't think that that's a possibility for you, or you don't believe you have any potential. You think you're more suited to being a gremlin selling crack on the streets than to be a doctorate in learning. And I'm not saying everyone is given unto that. What I'm saying is that you look to the lowest denominator in all things. When anything you do, you can really bring it to the highest level. Anything. That's why, I mean, I hate to go on about rap, but the highest level of rappers are actually wordsmiths, man. These dudes when it comes to lyrics and wordplay, these dudes run a level the Esau's could never get to. But we are so much more than that. We can reach the heights of all things. There's nothing withheld from us. Our Father created all things, and we're his sons. Wise and eloquent are their instructions. That's why Esau don't want you to know you're an Israelite, because you'll see these are the standards. These are high heights that our people have reached. Such as found out musical tunes and recited verses and rhymes. Like, we've always dealt with music. Rich men, furnished with ability. Furnished with ability, man. We come from men that were rich, that were furnished with ability. Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, David, Solomon, and the list goes on. Living peaceably in their habitations. We don't have to be a people that's killing and murdering each other, man. That's not what it is to be who we are. All these were honored in their generations and were the glory of their times. We were the glory of our times, man. Not the offscouring. There be of them that have left a name behind them, that their praises might be reported, and their names are still recorded in these scriptures, man. But Esau's disconnected you from that. And some there be which have no memorial, who are perished as though they had never been, and are become as though they had never been born, and their children after them. Meaning there were so many great men among Israel, many of them are forgotten. But these were merciful men, whose righteousness hath not been forgotten. With their seed shall continue remain a good inheritance, and their children are within the covenant. Their seed standeth fast, and their children for their sakes. Their seed shall remain forever, and their glory shall not be blotted out. That's through Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The promise the Lord made unto those men, and David, the nation of Israel is going to be established, man. Their bodies are buried in peace, but their name liveth forever. The people will tell of their wisdom, and the congregation will shew forth their praise. And then the scriptures goes on to mention names like Enoch, Noah, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Moses, and the list goes on, man. And you can go and read this for yourself. I want you so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native American Indians, man, you Israelites, go and read this for yourself. Go to Sirach, the 44th chapter, and read for yourself. Read the Bible, and you'll see that there's a standard, a high standard that is set for the sons of God. A high potential, man, that we should be achieving, that we should look towards, that a goal that we should work towards, and not try and be the lowest, man, not trying to be our lower self, which Esau wants you to be. Esau wants you to be your lower self, so he could lord over you, because your higher self is way and above him, because his power is not the Most High. Esau has no power, man. You are below him because you disconnected yourself from your power. You separate yourself from your power through your iniquity. All right. But pretty much that's what I wanted to bring on that. This whole IQ thing is a joke. All right, we're better than these Edomites, man, in every way. And Esau, like when the football and all these things started happening, they always wanted to just when it's a so-called black man, oh, he's just fast and strong. When it's a white man, oh, his IQ, you know, he's smart on the field. And we've shown that to all be bullshit, man. Whether Jake is doing whatever Jake is doing, if he's excelling at it, he's using his brain. But Esau don't wanna admit that. So to hell with Esau, man. To hell with him. All right. We are the sons of God, and what comes with that is the highest standard and the highest potential. And you, Jake, better start learning about that.
In the media that black children.
Shalom.